The form's got to turn around at some point, right? Why not today? We'll be covering all the action from Filbert Way today. It's Leicester City versus Brighton and Hove Albion. It's a watch-along. Won't you join us? Hello, thank you for joining us. We're going to jump right on into things. I'm going to add Ross in for a little bit of pre-match discussion because, Ross, we've got some players back.
Yeah, we have, baby. I was saying, my dad messaged me saying Madden's not benched. So I've only just seen that because I'm with my son and my nephew who's a player, so I've had to come outside a minute while they're playing. But yeah, obviously, Foreman's got to turn around, as you just said then. It's going to be, we need to pick up ASAP, and obviously Brighton are a strong side. Obviously, they've just let go of their best player to Arsenal, but they were playing better without him, to be fair. So, obviously they'll last time we played out, I was there at the Brighton Stadium. Yeah, well, he technically won't be allowed. I've just seen that comment. Technically, he won't be allowed, but we'll have to, Elijah can sing it. Technically, that counts. But no,
I do it too well. We get a copyright strike. Let's. I can show you the lineup here, so you are right. So we've got Madison back on the bench, and as well, Dennis Pratt returns to the lineup. He'll be taking that kind of Madison role in the right midfield. I had it down as a 4-3-3 earlier. I've also gotten some sources saying it'll be a 4-2-3-1.
Am I seeing things like either James Justin is turned white?
That is a text box that should have been hidden. So that is Luke Thomas on left back, not Justin.
Okay. Well, I would say I was there at the Brighton ground. We lost 5-2. Obviously, we took the lead, and then literally a couple of minutes later, they came back and obviously destroyed us. So hopefully it's not the same today. Hopefully we take the lead. And we took the lead so many times this season, and we just screwed up. So I'm not confident really in taking the lead first. Let's make it 0-0 until 95th minute, last minute winner. I'll make it that. But no, on a serious
scrappy match would definitely be how we would pull back. It's the Leicester City way.
We do, and obviously we need to win today. So we've got to win every game now. Obviously, we're not going to, of course, but we've got to start somewhere. You know, we can't. You know, if we're not careful, we could be in the bottom 3 today. You know, if everything goes wrong. So
well, I'll tell you what, there has been a gamble made by De Zerbi today that makes me a little optimistic, and that is that in the Brighton lineup they're actually playing one of their youth academy players, Jan-Paul van Hecke, in center back. So that does leave them with a little bit of a vulnerability. He'll have Dunk there to back him up, but this is a more vulnerable Brighton team than we saw last time.
It is. Obviously, it's a bit different. Obviously, it was Graham Potter's last game before he went to Chelsea. So obviously this one's a bit more style and play. Obviously, I don't know if you saw, or if you've seen highlights when they destroyed Liverpool. Hopefully, it doesn't come to that. You know. Look, if we lose today, I want us to at least play well, at least get into it and have a fight. You know, if we lose 1-0 and we've had our chance, we couldn't take him, and we've played well, then I say, okay, we lost, but we played well. I don't want to see us like last week where we lost 2-0 and we played pathetic. You know, but my score prediction before I go, because I need to get my thing up, my link up for the game. Sorry, I got a twitch in my eye then. But no, my score 2-1. I'm going to do my old dad's old trick. It always says 2-1. 2-1 Leicester. And goal scorers, I think it'll be 1-1. Maddison comes off the bench. Boom, free kick, top corner. We'll all be celebrating, happy. And, well, yeah. And you'll have a good morning. Have you had some breakfast?
Not yet. It's on a plate beside me. I'll tell you what, though. I'm actually backing it 2-1 as well.
2-1. Nice one. Well, I'm going to shoot. But is it just yourself today? If I have my nephew and my kids today, I'd happily join you. But, you know, come on, Ross.
No worries. It is just me today. But if you get the chance, feel free to jump on at halftime, full time as well.
If it's a 95th minute winner, you got to take your shirt off.
I have another shirt on underneath, so that's safe.
That'll be fine. Then we'll get a yellow card. All right.
All right, cheers, Ross.
You got to do that. You got to do that every time when someone takes the shirt off, whoever it is. Literally, pull up a yellow card graphic art and go, yellow card.
And I'll come back and I'm just in my grey T-shirt that says Toronto on the front.
I'm going to take the Foxes' arms singer. Come on, Foxes.
Cheers, Ross.
In a bit.
All right, so we are just about to kick off, and one of you did comment it as well. We have Top in the stadium today. Anthony, you were the one that mentioned that. They were just showing him on screen. Could be a little bit of a catalyst for the players. They know that they have what it takes to turn this around. I definitely think that the re-injection of a few of those players is going to help. The fact that we have more viable options on the bench, Maddison back in the team is going to be immense for us. But also, I really like the fact that we have Dennis Pratt back. And not only that, but he comes right back into the starting 11. Jamie from the Fox's Arms popping in some comments as well. So if you enjoy our content, please like the video, give us a subscribe. We're always looking to grow the channel. It helps us get into more people's Discover pages. That's how I found the channel and got into it. So absolutely just give us a like, share the video. Dave saying, need to win today. Completely agreed. I think we are going to be seeing, we know the way that Brendan Rodgers has been playing lately, and I don't want to come out and say that we're going to go at them from the start. But I think that the way that these two teams have lined up, I'm still feeling reasonably optimistic about our attacking chances against Jan-Paul van Hecke when we have the players of the ability like Vardy, Pratt, and Barnes potentially in a front three, be it a holding 4-3-3 formation. I think that we'll have those attacking possibilities up the middle. We know that Barnes likes to cut inside. We know that he likes to take opportunities that he can shoot himself. I think that today is a day that sets up well for him in that regard. There's going to be a lot of trust that we need to put into our defenders today. We know that Roberto De Zerbi has played a very stylish form of football. It's fast moving as well. We'll be hoping for the best, but honestly, for some reason, I'm just feeling confident. You know what, though? When this team is firing on all cylinders, we can score goals, and we've seen that. And we still had the same Brendan Rodgers at the helm. So we know that he is capable of getting this team to attack. I think that he definitely does fall back onto a much more defensive pass around at the back formation when he doesn't feel like he has the players in his squad to take risks. And that's what he's felt lately. And it's been deeply frustrating for every single one of us, I'm sure Brendan included. But we're starting to get that squad back. And I'll tell you what, we're just about to kick off, but we have a special correspondent for us from the Premier League fan event in Orlando who will be joining us in just a moment. No worries. He'll be joining us a little later. But just for the record, that is why I'm flying solo today. That's because Michael is actually in the Premier League fan event in Orlando. He'll be catching the game live there and joining a few other Leicester City fans. Hopefully, he'll be joining us a little bit later. Nick, good morning from Atlanta. Craig saying, got to win today or could be bottom 3 looking at the other fixtures. Absolutely. I've been one of those people that after the loss against Forest, there was a lot of discourse on Leicester Twitter saying things like the golden era has officially ended. Looking forward to rivalries with Coventry again in the championship and things like that. I'm not having that yet. I'm willing to have that if we drop into the bottom 3. But I still believe that we're going to survive. We aren't even in a relegation spot yet. So I'm not having that yet. I'm back in black until we win. That's shades of our earlier poor run of form. But again, I'm coming into today confident. And I can't tell you why. Maybe it's just because I'm tired and it's the morning and I haven't had the chance to think through this logically. But I just think that we're going to win it. Nick's saying that Brighton are doing what we did 3-4 years ago. Buy cheap, sell high. They're good at managers. You know, in a way, that's still kind of what we're doing. We didn't pay all that much for Victor Christensen, who we picked up in the January window. And honestly, January transfer signings are normally more expensive. 20 million for a Premier League player is not that bad. He's going to give us that depth that we need at the left back position again. Obviously, we're going to be a little spoiled in the fullback positions once we get Pereira and Justin back. But again, like I think that's still the kind of business that we're doing. We've just hit a rough patch. I can't disagree with you there. It gets quiet if we do poorly, and it gets toxic if we do very poorly. So obviously we will be hoping to just hit them right from the start. I think the players are gonna feel up for it. I can't tell you what happened to our mentality against Forest, but I can't see that happening once again. We're just about to kick off the show and the players on the field. Now, I believe if I remember correctly, first January signing since Fousseni Diabate. Practice starting today. What other comments have we got in here? They're just showing Brendan Rodgers on the sideline. So we're going to be in the last minute here before kickoff. You know what, though, Bob? I think that's selling Brighton pretty short. They have played very, very well this season. Very well. I'm going to see if I can get my stream caught up a little bit. The broadcaster here in Canada is a little inconsistent. There we go. So we have kicked off a couple minutes into the game, and it's 0-0. Right now, Brighton comfortably passing it around in the center circle. Leicester City really holding their shape here. So it actually looks a bit like a 4-4-2 out of possession. Vardy and looks like Dewsbury Hall playing as a front two with Barnes and Pratt falling back. No, agreed. And I think that there is definitely a reason why he's in England right now. Part of it is probably to help supervise any future transfer business we might be doing in January. But also, surely he recognizes the situation that the club is in. That's a little worrying for me. I feel like we might get some statements once more of this has passed. But yeah, it is worrying when the club aren't willing to come in. Danny Welbeck has broken into the penalty area. He's up against Dan Amarte. And a good job by Dennis Pratt there to fall back and win that ball. Sorry, Castagna. Castagna does well to fall back and back up Amarte and get that ball off of Danny Welbeck. And Leicester City back in possession. Blackjack, I'm assuming that you mean you went on the over on 1.5. I can see this being a high-scoring affair. Dunk will have his hands full if we are playing more than one player up front. And then the Leicester City defense is the Leicester City defense. So I don't think either keeper's keeping a clean sheet today. There you go, Scott. Statistically, we have struggled against teams playing with 11 players. Don't forget, we also lost to Chelsea, who only had 10 players. I know, Nick, but don't forget that it's us in our recent run of form. Mitoma on the ball right now, dispossessed again by Castagna. He's had a decent start to this match 5 minutes in. Tielemans donning the captain's armband today again. He's playing in central midfield with Papi Mendy. In possession, looks like a 4-2-3-1. Mendy and Tielemans as holding midfielders. Castagna with a nice knock onwards to get it to Pratt. He's well ahead of his man. Crosses it early towards Vardy, and he just can't make the right connection, and it goes wide of the net. Fast-moving stuff there. A good knock on there from Castagna to find Pratt. He plays the cross maybe a little early. He slips, and it actually doesn't make contact with Vardy. Sanchez forced to come out of the net, and it goes out for a corner kick. Yeah, sorry about that, Scott. I don't know what's up with the Canadian streams, but the timing on them is so strange. As Tielemans plays an outswinger, he's looking for Vardy, but it doesn't get past the first man, and we get another corner. Feel like we're going to play this one a little bit more lofted. That tends to be the way that we play second corners. And it is what we do. It's a lofted ball. Doesn't get past the near post for Brighton. And Barnes will collect it on the corner of the penalty area. Another cross comes in. Nearly falls to Wout Faes. And Mitoma tries to start a counterattack. His pass is intercepted by Pratt. But then a strong tackle as Pratt tries to shoot the ball. And Caicedo is in some discomfort there after a collision of shins. And it's a free kick to Brighton. Gee, that's a little pessimistic. I don't think it's going to be, or unless you're predicting a 3-0 to us, which I would love, but I don't think we're going to lose 3-0. I will have you know, I pay good money for this service. It is the official broadcaster in Canada. Pratt in a little bit of discomfort following that collision. Caicedo is back on his feet. It looks like both players will continue in this game. That's a very good point, Nick. So Ayoze Perez has been dropped from the lineup in its entirety. We know that he wants to move back to Spain. There's been a couple Spanish clubs sniffing around him. I really liked him as a player, and I was disappointed that he never really got the chance to shine in his preferred position at Leicester City. I don't feel any ill will towards him if he leaves. And, you know, if he does go for the rest of his contract on loan, that's good for us to get a little bit off the wage bill, freeze a little bit more for us for January. Brighton coming in, they play a long cross, and Ward will knock it down and collect. Nick, I think that our normal recruitment strategy has been derailed a little bit by the fact that we've had to hold on to players for longer due to a lack of depth. And that's been caused by a large number of injuries and obviously by the lack of funding that King Power has had access to following the pandemic. It's been a real double whammy that's hit us and kind of derailed that for a couple years. Poor pass by Wout Faes. Falls right to the feet of Solly March, who gets tackled. No free kick given, and it looks like it will be a throw into Brighton. No, a throw into Leicester City, so Wout Faes back in possession. Jamie, I saw you in the chat earlier. Please verify if Ayoze will be coming to work with you. You know what? If he ends up getting a contract at Mallorca, right in the same place. Both teams seem to feel fairly comfortable in possession. a lot of holding around midfield. I'd say Leicester City has been trying to push forward faster once they begin moving forward. So we're kind of holding it at the back line and then very quickly trying to play breaks. But right now it's Brighton trying to move forward. They play it out to Marsh on the wing. He's up against Luke Thomas. He gets his cross in, but that will only find Yuri Tielemans. And after a little bit of passing, Papi Mendy is now playing it back and forth with Luke Thomas. Mendy makes the clearance, but it gets deflected, and McAllister will then try to play it forward again. But Mendy again comes forward and just, oh no, he just lets the ball run out of play, and that is a throw into Brighton. So Nick, there was a little bit of discussion that we were having in the in one of the Leicester City chats. So I've seen some conflicting thoughts as to what this loan means. From my understanding, it was either a refinancing of or a loan against future payments being made by Chelsea for Wesley Fofana. So it's not an injection of debt into the club the way that statement would make it appear. As well, those future Premier League payments that were mentioned in the contract, that was in the definitions page and defined as what Leicester City would be using to pay for it, basically as what their collateral is against the loan. So it's not saying that we're not getting our Premier League payments anymore. It's saying if we fail to get the money from Chelsea, that is what the bank would then be able to claim against. So it's not as concerning as the initial reports of just Leicester take out a big loan against Premier League payments would look like. I know I don't think it's against the future TV money, though. I'm pretty sure that that's mentioning as like what could be taken in the event of a default, not as basically what we're taking the loan out against. Nick, the match has been pretty good so far, so I'm not overly... I think the ground has seemed pretty piped up, and Dennis Pratt really making an impact here early. Dispossesses his man, tries to start a break. Vardy is now on the ground, and Pratt will play the ball off of Caicedo for a throw-in. Jeet, it's a fair point. A lot of our players definitely seem to have come back in a poorer headspace following the World Cup, and it really derailed that good run of form. But absolutely, I want to keep optimistic. We throw the ball in backwards, and Amarte will now play the ball back to Fess. Fair enough, then. Yeah, if the BBC is reporting it, then I could be mistaken. That's interesting, then, because I know that King Power didn't really want to saddle a lot of debt onto the club. So surely it definitely means that they're comfortable, that they're confident that we would stay in the Premier League. At the same time, though, like if we go down, there's parachute payments that would help insulate us from that as well. Like we're not back into like the Mandaric era. I don't think there's any need for concerns around that. He's not on the bench. The club have definitely been tweeting a lot about his recovery, but it doesn't appear as though he's good for a matchday squad again yet. Madison is on the bench, though, so he is making his return to the squad. He just wasn't fit to play the full 90. Mitoma dancing around a couple Leicester City players deep in the Brighton defensive zone, and now they're trying to play some fast-moving football to break. McAllister now on the ball. Ball played forward. It's March. He plays a low cross that is well intercepted easily by Wout Faes. And now Leicester City can look to come forward. Lovely passing here from Mendy, who finds Dewsbury Hall, who finds Barnes. Barnes lays it off towards Vardy. And Vardy gets tackled from behind by Caicedo. And Brighton will regain possession. Yeah, the turning down the opportunity to speak to Radio Leicester, that I can't offer any explanation for. That is worrying, but I feel like part of it is definitely that there's a feeling that there's additional concerns that they might just want to say that they're not as worried about because it's been amplified by a poor run of form. And they know that wouldn't be very satisfying for fans to hear, so they want to wait until things are a little bit calmer. But even then, I think that is a bit of an optimistic stance. I'll tell you what, Anthony, what you're mentioning about Barnes there, though, that he was too quick to pass, that's at least a little bit of a change from him. I criticized him on a couple earlier streams about the fact that he passes way too late. And he is far more attuned to taking the ball and taking 1, 2, 3 additional touches before looking to pass, because he wants to shoot the ball himself. So I'd rather he pass too quickly than not pass at all. Mike, thanks for tuning in. I disagree with that. I don't think we've actually been playing that defensively. It's looked like we're playing a 4-3-3 in possession and a 4-2-3-1 out of possession. We definitely have been trying to do holding, and we're still playing that backwards passing that I know a lot of fans are frustrated with. But we have moved the ball forward well. Neither goalkeeper has really been challenged yet, but we've won a couple corners. We've had a couple fast breaks. So again, it's what I feel like so often the stats don't really do justice to the way that Leicester City has played. But I really feel like this is the case as well today. We've moved forward, and I definitely think we are looking like eventually scoring a goal in this match. Not to mention, Brighton has kind of been playing similar as well. In possession, like even right now, they've just passed the ball right the way back to their center backs at the center circle. Both teams are looking to hold possession and play the ball once they see an opening. But until then, they're happy to just let the two center backs hold it. As Dunk tries to play a pass forward, but it deflects off of Dewsbury Hall. And another nice pass from Papi Mendy to find Dewsbury Hall here. He's up against Caicedo and passes the ball back to Mendy. Now over to Tielemans. Lofted pass that's looking for either Barnes or Dewsbury Hall. It finds Barnes. He runs into the penalty area, but can't keep it in play. A little bit too much pace on the ball, and that's a goal kick to Brighton. I'd love to see a good 3-2. I think both teams would love to see themselves score a fair number of goals. I predicted a 2-1 before kickoff. I don't know. Despite our poor run of form, I'm coming into today feeling confident. Craig saying we'll score when Madison come on. He's our creative player that we're missing. I think definitely he's going to make an impact, both in terms of the creativity, but also in terms of the mentality on the rest of the pitch. That's harsh on Barnes for that one. The pass was played well in front of him, so he really had to pick up the pace, and it's very hard to take a light touch when you're running that quickly. So the first one, I think he did scuff his pass a little bit, but that most recent attack, I wouldn't say that it was Barnes ruining the move. It's always disappointing when a Leicester City fan has to say that we have to take some inspiration from Nottingham. But in all fairness, I think similarly, they are an example of what it takes, about what can happen when your mentality is turned around. I don't think that they're any safer from relegation than we are at the moment, but they're definitely not the foot of the Premier League anymore. Brighton with a corner, and it's definitely setting up like they're going to be playing it out swinging and deep. All the players crowding around the penalty area, and that is exactly what they do. Amarte wins the ball. It falls backwards towards Caicedo, and he gets the ball over towards Lallana, who tries to play it low into the penalty area, and Barnes saves the corner and puts it out for a throw-in. I will not say that he's not been shocking for the last few matches. I just think that saying that he ruined that last previous attack was a little harsh. It appears as though Barnes did not keep it in possession there, so it has gone out for another corner. Again, I think once we get both players back into the right headspace, we'll be back into those kinds of link-ups. And Nick, very fair. And I think if we can get that winger, Nico Gonzalez, I think that will be that competition that Barnes needs. Give him a couple more chances to break down some moves, and then maybe I'll say it. You've all seen enough watch-alongs with me to know that I'm very blue-tinted glasses. I'll normally say positive things or defend players for as long as possible. In-swinging corner played by Brighton, and it's headed away by Dan Amarte. Shot taken off the rebound, and it's cleared by Yuri Tielemans. Papi Mendy has had a good match so far. Gets knocked over from behind and wins a free kick off of Pascal Gross right on the halfway line. You might be right, Mike. But that said, Barnes was also firing on all cylinders before we took Lookman in on loan. So I think it's mostly a mentality thing, and I've chalked that up to a lot of the players dropping form more recently. But you're right that I think some competition would help him, and that's why I do hope that we can sign Gonzalez. I know that one's a little bit more difficult because of the way that Fiorentina have been negotiating, but we've now broken the seal on the January transfer window. We've made a signing. We have some money in the club. If we let Ayoze go on loan, we'll have some more money in the wage budget. There's still time. You could be right on that, but at the same time, maybe it could be a bit of a like a one season, maybe even take him on loan with an option to buy, and then if we get relegated, we don't have to take the option on it. Tielemans finds Castagna, who then does well to get around Mitoma, but he's forced to turn around and plays it back to Tielemans. Tielemans will play the ball to Amarte. And we've seen both teams playing like this, holding the ball with their center backs at the center circle, waiting for an opportunity. But both these teams playing very structured, holding defensive lines when out of possession. But Tielemans does well to find Dennis Pratt there. Over to Castagna and then back to... does well to find Dewsbury Hall, and now it's back to Pratt. Back forward to Dewsbury Hall. Mitoma causing some problems defensively on that wing, though. Ball now with Pratt. He's past Mitoma. Breaking forward, cuts back, finds Tielemans, plays the cross in, and it's up and over everybody, and Luke Thomas won't get there first, and it's out for a Leicester City throw. And that's very fair. We know that Fiorentina really want money for him. They've been saying that he's not for sale because they know that will drive up his sale value. So that I've only seen the rumor in name so far. I really don't know anything about Tete. So if there's any information you've got, I'd love to hear it. But yeah, I'm not even 100% sure what team he plays for. I believe he plays for Shakhtar Donetsk. And I know that he's Brazilian, but to be honest, that's just a rumor that's emerged pretty recently. So I don't know anything about it. Mendy, I would say, has been one of our best players on the pitch. Mendy and Pratt, both doing very well so far this match. Anthony Gordon could be a good fit, a little bit more competition in those places. He's done all right for Everton. I think, again, like he's not emblematic of the problems that they've been having. Brighton now coming forward. March finds Lallana. Quick back and forth with Welbeck. Out onto the wing to Mitoma. He breaks into the penalty area, loses Castagna. Good tackle there from Castagna. Gets a boot on the ball and a shoulder into the player. Mitoma goes down, and it is a corner kick to Brighton. It wouldn't surprise me to see us take some late loans instead of panic buys because we've seen the consequences of panic buying from this club in the past. If we take some loans, if we can add in some buy options, that gives us the opportunity to evaluate the players over the rest of the course of the season. I like Anthony Gordon. He's one of those names that, when I hear it, you kind of purse your lips and do that, kind of nod. In swinging corner, played in, bounces off a few players and then headed up over the goal by Jan-Paul van Hecke, the young center back. Scott, I think that's a very, very good way to put it, that Dennis Pratt is a bit of an Albrighton type character, that, he's not a world beater, but when you put him in the lineup, you're going to get 110% out of him for 90 minutes. I'm mates with a few Manchester United fans at my work, and I was talking with one of them recently, and I was saying the same about Scott McTominay. I think he's a lot like that, where it's just he's not the most skillful player. You wouldn't necessarily put him into the club or put him into your starting 11 on merit, but you put him in there for mentality and effort. As Castagna gets the ball right on the wing and plays a low cross that goes off of Mitoma, and we're going to win a corner out of that. But yeah, and again, like those of you who have tuned in before will know that Mark Albrighton is my favorite player. taken pictures with him, gotten his autograph. I have like 3 or 4 shirts with his name on the back now. And I love him for like the personality and work rate that he brings into the dressing room. And I think you're right that Dennis Pratt does bring very similar. Yuri Tielemans looks like he's going to be playing this one high, out swinging. But Brighton have a lot of players in the box. We play it deep, and it falls deep at the back towards Harvey Barnes, who heads it towards goal. Sorry, Luke Thomas, who heads it towards goal. But it's a very light header in the end, and easily collected by Roberto Sanchez. I think another thing with Chelsea, though, like we keep saying Chelsea signings and saying, like, I'd have loved to have had him. Let's not forget that even if Chelsea aren't putting a lot of money in transfer fees, which they are also doing on a lot of their transfers, they're probably offering monster wages that we just don't have the ability to do. Madueke has been fairly highly rated, so I do think that we just got priced out on him. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they're going to be paying like some monster wages on it. The spending at Chelsea has been baffling to me, and I think they're definitely taking some big risks. And honestly, I put my tinfoil hat on when I was talking to some of my friends at work, so don't quote me on this. I have no substance to it, but it wouldn't surprise me if Chelsea are making this much business because Todd Boehly wants to buy Stamford Bridge. Because if Chelsea end up in a shaky financial situation, that's an easy way for them to raise funds. And then on the cusp of the potential building of a new stadium, Todd Boehly will then end up owning a massive swatch of prime real estate in Kensington. We've been looking all right. I think that both teams, this has been like a 6.5, 7 out of 10 performance. Tielemans on the ball. We lose possession in midfield, and now Brighton look to come forward. McAllister. Caicedo plays it out wide to Mitoma. He's up against Castagna. Mitoma cuts inside, shoots from a distance, and wow! That was a stunning goal. I can't even really complain about that. Mitoma from outside the box with a wicked amount of curve on it. Plays it right into the top corner. No goalkeeper in the Premier League is saving that. Both Castagna and Mitoma have been playing that way against each other all match, where they cut forward and then, yeah, they abruptly stop their momentum and cut inside. And yeah, Castagna gets caught a little flat-footed. What a shot that was for Mitoma, though. Absolutely stunning. Yep, I mean, I predicted a 2-1. Both are still on the cards. Neither the players nor their fans, nor the fans can let their heads drop at this, though. It will be very easy for it to happen. We can't let that. We can't let it happen. Yeah, it's possible you could say that we set up to do that. I've seen positive attacks from us that just didn't end in shots, and realistically, that shot kind of came out of nowhere. There's still time left in this match. It's been about the same here in Canada. We've had some snow. It gets bitterly cold at night, but again, like I don't want to use those words because it can get so much worse. Usually hovering around the freezing mark. We've had a lot of rain lately. But yeah, 1-0 to Brighton. The next 5-10 minutes are definitely going to be very, very telling. Just showing their top in the audience looking on. There's a lengthy break right now as one of the Brighton players went down and has now been subbed off. Joel Veltman coming on for Brighton now. I'm not sure which player that was that went down. I would assume if Veltman's coming on, it would either have been Dunk or Van Hecke. Appears to have been Dunk. And Leicester City kick off. Immediately try a lofted through pass. Jamie Vardy waving for players to come forward. And It goes out for a throw into Brighton. And Nick, you're right. That's basically how it went. Castagna got caught out by the cutback, and yeah, that was it. And then we gave him the space, and let's not sell Mitoma short there. That was a beautiful shot. Probably going to be a candidate for goal of the month. Completely agreed, Mike. Like, we got to go into halftime level. And I apologize. So I said that Dunk had gone off. I was mistaken. It was Lallana who has come off, which makes it really interesting to me that Veltman is the player that comes on for him. That could mean a change in shape for Brighton in a more defensive formation. We've seen how well Danny Ward can do before the World Cup, though. And again, like that wide curling shot from outside the box, I think that gets past most Premier League goalkeepers. Completely agree. We got it. We definitely have to get scrappy now. And things are getting a little scrappy in the Brighton defensive third, although the Seagulls come out with the ball. IDK, so I'm from Canada, and the official broadcaster in Canada is a streaming service called Fubo. So I pay them a subscription service, and I get to watch the Premier League games. It wouldn't surprise me if we do see some kind of action from the board now, because the moment relegation becomes a serious possibility, the club is going to act. I think that they did believe that there was going to be a turnaround in form at the start of the season, and we saw that before the World Cup. We had pulled ourselves right the way back up into mid-table, outside possibilities of making it into like Conference League spots again, and then it's just after the World Cup, we're right back into that terrible form again. It's dire right now. It is. Like, I'm even positive as I try to be, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This is a miserable time. Michael, I'm hoping to get on maybe at half or full time. He's currently at the Premier League fan event in Orlando, so he's going to be watching it live with a bunch of other Leicester City and Brighton supporters from across the U.S. So as a result, he wasn't able to come on the stream as a co-commentator. Yeah, I didn't want to recognize it as a serious possibility until we were actually in the bottom three, just because I believe that on paper there are 3 teams that are definitely worse than us. But we're losing games that we should be getting points from. Hi, Z. Thanks for tuning in. Currently showing the winning percentage in 1-0 up. Brighton currently have a 55% chance of winning, 18 for Leicester City to win, 27% for a draw. Scott, I kind of agree that I just don't... We know that... I don't even know how to put it in words, just that I expect more from Brendan Rodgers. And, like, I still rate him as a top-class manager, but we've seen time and again that he just keeps playing things that don't work. Dennis Pratt appears to have gone down with some cramp. It is worrying, definitely. I don't blame Ward for the goal at all. I don't. It was a really, really good shot. I think it's very harsh to blame Ward for that. Dennis Pratt is coming off the field for treatment. Appears as though it could be an ankle problem. Why do I rate Brendan? Because of what he's accomplished with the club. I think it... I'm about to say some words that I know that are going to trigger some vitriolic responses, but we have to remember where we came from. And I'm not saying that to mean we were in League One in 2007, 2008. No. I'm talking about the Craig Shakespeare, Claude Puel era, where we were kind of this floundering mid-table club. And Brendan Rodgers took that club and made it a European challenger consistently. We were going into seasons expecting to place in the Champions League spots. We won an FA Cup. We've seen that he can get consistent good performances out of this club. I don't know what's changed. I don't know. And it's fair, like, especially at the start of the season, Ward was definitely floundering. I think he's come into his own a little bit more. And I think that the defense really doesn't do Ward favors. And you're not wrong. If we lose 1-0 today, if we lose without scoring today, it's the first time in our history that we've gone 4 home games without scoring. Brendan was a step in the right direction at the time. Now it's time to show him the door. Now, similarly, again, I asked this question in earnest. I'm not asking this as just like an I want to keep Brendan way, but I would like to hear, if we were to sack Brendan, which I do think is looking more possible. We've got top in town. We're not performing well. Who would we bring in? Because I know that Pochettino gets thrown around a lot. Would he come into a relegation scrap? I know I've seen Deitch a lot, but would he come in if he knows that he's not going to stay long term if we end up turning the form around? So Pratt has come off and he has been replaced by Albright, and I didn't commentate on that earlier. So I disagree with the fact that Albrighton would bring nothing. The fact that in possession we play Dennis Pratt on the right wing does bode well for us if we then play Albrighton in that same place. It's his natural position. He can play those lofted balls to Albrighton or to Barty. He can play in those high crosses. So there's still good reason to have Albrighton on. I think that Brendan, if he intends on bringing Madison on, would bring him on for half an hour because he doesn't want to take any. We've seen this happen before where a player comes back from injury, we play him for a full 90, and then he just re-aggravates the injury around the 70th minute mark, and then he's out for another 6 weeks. I'm not sure what's up with Jono. He's not going to stop supporting us, but he wasn't available today. All right, so seeing some of with regards to what I had asked, so some people are saying Sean Deitch. The thing with Deitch is that, like, everybody who's been saying they want Deitch in have been saying that we would get him to avoid relegation and then look to other managers. Why would Deitch want to come into a project where he knows that he's not allowed to see a project come to light? I think he'd sooner want to go to, say, even a Forest or Everton. Appeals for a handball there as 2 blocks, and Albrighton, after we said that, after the chat said there was no reason to have him on the pitch, has leveled the game. And I'll tell you what, we're not going 4 home matches without scoring because Mark Albrighton has leveled the match. It's Leicester City 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. Okay, so to jump quickly back, we'll get back on this topic in 1 second, but just to discuss the goal, 3 shots blocked, 2 I'm pretty sure by handball, and every rebound falls to a Leicester City player. We swarmed their penalty area, we went forward and attacked, and we did well to score off of the 3rd rebound. Mark Albrighton puts it right over the arm of Sanchez, and that could be the momentum turner that we need. So then to jump back, I think that we would lose Brendan if we're in the relegation zone. The goal is being reviewed for a possible offside, but I'm seeing the screen right now and he's not offside. I'm not sure which defender that is, but he's got his leg in front. His boot has him onside. If this gets overturned, I'm going to be fuming because that's not offside. He's onside. That goal has to stand. And I'll tell you what, I believe for the rest of January, Leicester City is offering free shirt printing, so it might be time for me to add another All Brighton shirt to the collection. Goal stands, and it is now 1-1. Mark Albrighton. But there we go. Love that from the lad. Okay, now here's the thing. I rate Mark Albrighton. I love Mark Albrighton. Every match I go to, I've genuinely been tempted when I go to Leicester to the matches to bring one of those Bristol board signs that says like, Mark, can I have your shirt? But I'm not a child, so I don't think I'd end up getting it. I don't think he should be starting every match, though, because I don't think that he has the stamina left to play a full 90 minutes every time. Brighton coming forward again, and it's wide open on the wing for McAllister. He cuts inside into the penalty area, plays it back. Another pass. Shot taken, blocked. Rebound, shot taken, up and over the bar. Okay, so I watched the Manchester derby there, and as a neutral, that goal was onside to me. I might be misinterpreting it, but I'm a big letter of the law guy when it comes to football. And Rashford never touched the ball and never interfered with the vision of the goalkeeper. As an offside player, you can draw players out of position. That is perfectly legal. You can't touch the ball or interfere with the goalkeeper's line of sight. He did neither. Goal stands. Now, let's also not sell Mark Albrighton short. He's still a talent. And again, like the work rate that he puts in is the kind of thing that you need in a squad like this. Mitoma on the ball now. Ball played forward by Dunk. Bouncing around in the midfield. Mitoma plays it back to Van Hecke. Pass intercepted. Bouncing around in the midfield. Excellent interception there. I think that was by Yuri Tielemans. Through ball that would have had Brighton one-on-one with Danny Ward, but a sliding interception from Yuri Tielemans stops that pass in its tracks. Duncan Van Hecke passing the ball around at the center circle. Now, here's another hot take from me. I actually like VAR. I do. Because again, like as a letter of the law guy, I like the fact that we're able to, I think maybe we use it a little bit too often, but I like it as an institution. And we see it in other sports as well through review systems. Like they have it in American football. They have it in baseball. I think that given how much complaint that we can rightfully have about referees getting decisions wrong, this is a way to hold them accountable. As Jamie Vardy gets the ball on the outside of the penalty area, and he's dispossessed, and it will be collected by Robert Sanchez. How do I feel about Christensen? So I've heard very good things. And one of the things that I always like to keep an eye on when we make a signing is what the fans of the local team do when there's an announcement of the signing. Like, do they seem like they will miss him? What do they have to say to fans of the club that he's moving to? We saw a lot of positivity from Stade de Reims supporters when Wout Faes signed for us, and we're seeing much of the same with Victor Christensen. A lot of Copenhagen supporters that I've seen on Twitter have rated him very highly. They say that he was a real talent in the Danish league, that he's one for the future for the national team. So I am greatly looking forward to it. I think we need that competition back at the left back position because we're currently missing Pereira. We're currently missing Justin. We need somebody who can go in there and, if not, get straight into the starting lineup, put some competition on Thomas, encourage better performances from the left back position. Anthony saying Vardy sadly has completely lost his edge. Completely is a little harsh, but he's definitely not, 2015. He's definitely not the Vardy of the Premier League winning season. That's for sure. But he's still a legend of the club. I hope that he retires with us. I don't want him to end up moving to like the Rochester club that he owns or anything like that. I'd much rather see him move into like a hospitality or ambassadorship position within the club. Same thing that I'd hope to see from Mark Albrighton when he retires. And yeah, exactly. So the Copenhagen fans will miss him, and they've spoken very highly of him. And that is always, to me, like my biggest gauge of how good a player will be for us. And again, we saw Stade de Reims fans speak very well about Wout Faes, and look how well he's done for us now. So I'm very optimistic. And yeah, we got a break in play as McAllister took a trailing arm to the mouth. A little exaggerated, but at the same time, he has actually had to leave the field. I think he stayed on the ground because his lip got cut on his teeth. And strict rules, if there's blood, you can't be on the pitch. I'll be honest, if I got hit like that and my lip were bleeding, I'd hit the ground as well because I don't want to give the other team a one-man advantage while they tend to it. I'd rather stay on the ground and give it as much time as possible to heal. Tielemans on the ball now. 46 minutes played. We got 4 minutes added time. He bit his own tongue. Honestly possible. Dick Dave saying Vardy still does more than Daka. The thing with Daka, and I think even Iheanacho as well, is that they play well when they have a strike partnership, whereas Vardy has more capability to be a lone striker. So I do honestly see, like, if and when Vardy retires in the coming seasons, we are going to have to see a mandatory switch to a 2 up front. I haven't heard about this, but to be fair, if it happens, I think Vardy does a very good job mentally of blocking out distractions. We saw that with the whole court case with his wife as well. Like, he still plays and fires on all cylinders when he can. That I don't know. I think it's one of those, like, traditionalists will say that it's part of the game and you have to account for it. I think we've started to see a little bit of migration towards something like that with what we saw at the World Cup. The fact that we saw 10, 11, 12 minutes of additional time added on because any kind of simulation, any kind of break in play like that, as McAllister's on the ground again holding his leg, they just added that time on at the end of the half. That I disagree with. I actually see Daka more as a player who can hold the ball and run through defenders, whereas Vardy is more the pace player. I think we really saw that when we were in the Europa League against Spartak Moscow. He really played well holding the ball and running through the lines rather than being a player who you can play a loft through ball to. And it is possible that he is going to end up flopping with us. Again, like, I don't want to let his head drop, and definitely all of the Zambians that comment on Leicester City social media posts won't let you say something like that, but he definitely hasn't been quite up to the snuff that we expected from him. More of a steward than a forward. Harsh. Understandable, but harsh. And that is halftime. Leicester City 1, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. A stunner of a goal from Kaoru Mitoma. and a well-taken equalizer from Mark Albrighton have left this game level. Let me get you some updates around the scores at halftime elsewhere in the Premier League. So, Leicester City 1, Brighton 1. Earlier in the day, Liverpool and Chelsea played out a 0-0 draw. Southampton and Aston Villa 0-0 at St. Mary's. West Ham 2-0 up against Everton at the London Stadium. Bournemouth 1-0 up against Forest at Dean Court. So let me take a quick look at what this means for the standings. As it stands, by taking a point, Leicester City will remain 1 point clear of the drop zone. Wolves are currently sitting in 18th. They do have a game in hand on 17 points. Southampton and Everton remain in the drop zone. Everton will become the new last place team on 15 points. Simultaneously, if we do come back to win this game and get up to 20 points, we would see ourselves rise up to 13th position in the league. So again, the fact that we're close to the relegation zone is cause for concern, but it is also a very, very tight Premier League. Nick saying, go on, Bournemouth. Both teams are currently ahead of us in the standings, but as it stands right now, if Bournemouth win and we win, we would jump over both of them in the standings. Game's not over yet, though. Very fair, but you know what? That also means that we can still come back to win. Anthony saying good results so far. I am going to take a quick 5-minute break, so I'm going to put that interlude video back on, but I will be back. I just got to get myself some more water and step away for a quick second. But I'll be back, and when I do, I'm going to put that link into the chat so that you can all join us for some halftime discussions. So please stay on the line, and I will be back in 5 minutes. You caught me. I was having breakfast. Well, let me get that link into chat for you. There you go. All right, so you can click on that link. Join me, share your thoughts at halftime. We can talk about the goals. We can talk about what needs to change in the second half. And hopefully we'll see Michael as well. All right, Nick, I'm going to add you in. Nick, we've been having a little bit of back and forth in comments, but at least we're level at halftime.
Well, this is it, isn't it? I think we just need one win. One win. Doesn't matter how we win, whether we dominate or win ugly, it might kickstart it. Like before the World Cup. But we'll see. I'm glad Albrighton's got some, game time again, because I rate Albrighton. I think he's the best crosser of the ball we've got on, in the squad, and he's got a goal as well, so that's good. But we need to win. We really do. Especially with some of the results going our way.
Absolutely. So, I was mentioning earlier, like a win right now would see us as high as 13th in the league again, basically back where we were before the World Cup break. So again, like it shows how volatile things are right now, because at the same time, if the results weren't going our way, we could see ourselves, I believe, as low as 19th.
Yeah, we can't rely on this mentality that there's worse teams than us. You rely on that mentality, you may as well go down, because you've got to fight and claw for every point. And we'll see if they've got it in them, but I don't know. I'm excited by Christensen though. He's a good prospect. And
absolutely,
with Ricardo coming back soon, that means Castagna can also play on the left side. We might be able to get Thomas out on loan into a Championship club, because he's not ready for the Premier League. He's only in because obviously JJ's out. So
agreed. Like I feel a little bit like he's out of his depth at the moment, and that's through no fault of his own. No, and it's unfortunate because of the anger that's directed to him, rightfully because of his performances. But yeah, he needs more time to develop.
I mean, he's a local lad. He needs to gain time, get his confidence up. It worked well for Barnes, KDH. I think he'd do all right in the Championship. He's nowhere near ready for the Premier League. Not in a million years. Every time people were worried about Big Dan at the centre back, well, having to have Luke Thomas at left back, that terrifies me. It really does.
We see that, admittedly, they've been trying to get more against Castagna, but Brighton likes to come forward on the wings, cut inside, and try to shoot. Realistically, it's the Harvey Barnes special. It's what he always tries to do when he comes forward.
Yeah, I just wish a little bit we played the way we did when we won the title, where the team was fighting for each other. The problem is, I mean, like I said to you in the comments, quite a lot of Radio Leicester things just recently, because I've been catching up on my podcasts today while I've been delivering the post.
No, that's fair. I'm behind on them.
But quite a lot of the rumours going around is it's in the camp. It's not a very happy camp at the minute. And that's with players, the management, the stuff, everything. The whole sort of team is it's just absolutely dead. So we've got to get something going, because otherwise we are going to that Championship, and then financially we are screwed. We really are.
And that's fair. And I'm hoping we can turn that mentality around soon. I think honestly it does harken back to some of the things that Brendan said earlier. Like he said that we needed a shake up in the dressing room again. He might have been talking about some of those players that wanted moves away, and as a result, they're more acting in their own best interests rather than, like you said, playing for each other. I'm not going to point fingers at any player in
I'm not pointing players, but let's put our realist hat on. You're a you do what you would do for a living, yeah? You're on a certain amount of money, but you get the opportunity to move to a different job, same workplace environment, but a different job. but they want you to take a massive wage decrease. Are you going to take that job? You're not. Nobody is. Nobody's going to do it. That's why Vestergaard didn't go to Fulham, because we're paying him way over the odds. And why should he take a decrease?
And that's on our recruitment staff. Like that, I don't know who offered him that contract, but that's on them.
Well, my money's on Rudkin. So, and obviously, he's not got the best reputation anyway. But he's the one who's putting, these deals on for Vestergaard. He's the one that's allowed the fact that you've spent, 30 million on Perez, who's going to go out on loan for the rest of his contract, and he'll go on a free. Euro Tillemans, another 30 plus million that we signed, another one that's going to go on a free. He brought in Bertrand, put him on high wages, not played a single game for us apart from a Carabao Cup game.
Leicester City legend.
On the sickbed, yeah. Not on the pitch.
Leicester City training ground rehab center legend, Ryan Bertrand.
He's probably got a bed named after him or a bloody ward named after him. The Bertrand ward.
I was about to say the Bertrand wing, yeah. But yeah, honestly, I think that recruitment has definitely been one of the, especially they made a lot of those contract offers before they knew of the pandemic finances that we would end up getting ourselves into through King Power. But a lot of it was still irresponsible.
Yeah, I mean, we've got to do something. Whether we get out of it and then we look at a new manager next season, because even Matt Piper on Radio Leicester's come out and said that. Yep. I don't know, but he's on £12 million a season, and for me, he should be doing a lot more to earn £12 million a season. He's not an elite manager. He's not going to win the Champions League anytime soon, is he?
No.
Well,
if I saw in the stands correctly, it's not just Top who's in attendance, but also Rudkin and Whelan are at the game as well. So it does look as though big decisions are going to be made depending on the results of this match.
Well, about time. Like I said, the big wig should be in there. They should be what their actions have caused on the pitch. Yes, okay, are we King Power's main focus anymore, or are they still trying to get contracts at the duty free? I don't know. But you sunk that much money into it over the years, and it's going wrong drastically. Not only is it bad for us, it's bad for them, because before you know it, the fans are going to go turn toxic at that King Power, and and it's not a nice place. I've seen it over the years when it's been at its worst, even back in the Filbert Street days. When the fan base turns, it's horrible. You've not witnessed it properly yet. You've seen bits and bobs with Puel and stuff like that, but this toxicity, when it does rise, is on a completely different level.
That's fair. I got to let you go because we're about to kick off the second half.
Yeah,
but hopefully I can have you briefly at full time.
Yeah, because I've got a couple of shout outs to make anyway at full time. So I'll catch you at full time, mate. Mind you, go.
All right, so let me get that score banner back up without the HT. And let me get my stream as caught up as I can get it. Hiccuped a little bit at halftime, but there we go. We're caught up, and we have just kicked off the second half. Leicester City now attacking to the left of your screen if you're watching the match as well. Jason saying was looking a pathetic half until we scored. It became a mad half. Again, like I recognizing my blue tinted glasses, I had some positives to take away from it. I think we really attacked well with those long passes. Again, we still are falling short on final shot or final pass, but we were creating the kinds of chances that we needed to, and we finally took one. And the fact that we did it so close to halftime, I'm really hoping is going to be a momentum shifter. The first 5-10 minutes of this half are going to be huge for both these teams. And right as I say that, Robert Sanchez makes an unforced error, hoofing the ball well over his center back and out for a throw into Leicester City in a dangerous position. That said, now Leicester are wasteful with the possession and is now out for a Brighton throw. Veltman to take, and he throws it back to Van Hecke. Dewsbury Hall playing very high and tussling with him. Forces him to play the ball all the way back to Sanchez. We're only a minute and a half in, but we look a little hungrier than we were before. That high attack from Dewsbury Hall pressuring the center backs, seeing a little bit of it here from Harvey Barnes as well. We didn't see that in the first half as much. If Everton loses, Lampard might get sacked. They're calling it the El Sacico. That's possible. I don't see Southampton sacking Nathan Jones so soon after hiring him because, one, that would be immensely costly. Realistically, if they put him on a longer-term contract, it could even be more costly than relegation. And they know that Nathan Jones knows how to do well in the Championship. He did well with Luton. So I think they would back Jones to rebound them back into the Premier League, even if they get relegated. That, and I think Jones will have a little bit of credit in the bank because a lot of the responsibility for where Southampton was is on Ralph Hasenhüttl and his management earlier in the season. I thought Nathan Jones was a very odd appointment for a Premier League club that was trying to survive. To then go for a good Championship manager was very strange. But we'll see how it plays out for them as a cross comes in from Brighton and it's headed away. Ball now being held by Castagna, who does well to get out of the way and play the ball to Thomas. Ball goes off Mitoma and out for a Leicester City throw-in just short of the halfway line. I mean, I feel like as soon as a Chelsea manager gets hired, they're on thin ice. It will be interesting to see where Chelsea's patience level lies with Potter, because we've never seen where the line is with the Bowley ownership. Like, we know that if this was pre-Bowley, if this was when they were still owned by Abramovich, Potter would have been sacked after he lost 2 matches. Now I could actually see them trying to be more of an Arsenal under Arteta. We've seen Bowley funnel £500 million into that club for signings. You don't do that to a manager that you're thinking of sacking. Unless those are transfers that Bowley wants and not Potter. Brighton playing more controlled football at the moment, passing it around at the back. Now trying to come forward on the left wing up against Albrighton and Castagna. Ball goes back to Mitoma. Through ball finds Welbeck, but intercepted. Pass to Amarte. Harvey Barnes does well to get around March, but March then sticks a foot in and intercepts the pass. And Brighton go back to their center backs. I wouldn't say he's damaged goods. Like, let's not forget that Brendan Rodgers wasn't exactly in good standing with Liverpool when he left. He was obviously in better standing with Celtic, but even then he went to Celtic and did well. Just because you don't do well at one club. Damari Gray wasn't doing well with us, and then he goes and shines at Everton. Sometimes you just need a change of scenery. So, yeah, if Potter goes, I wouldn't mind having him here. Big sliding tackle there by Papi Mendy. Upends his man. No free kick given, and then almost like a bit of retaliation there. It seems Veltman overturns Dewsbury Hall, and we win a free kick. You know what, Anthony? We started kind of positively. We were high pressing and attacking well, but Brighton seemed to have gotten settled. It looks almost like they don't feel a lot of pressure. They would rather frustrate us and then wait for us to come out of position. They know we need these points more than they do. And now Brighton come forward. Oh, it's Welbeck on the edge of the penalty area. He goes down. You're not getting a penalty for that. Shot from March goes off of Welbeck and out for a goal kick. De Zerbi is fuming. Ooh, that might have actually been a foul by Thomas. This will... Oh. I thought Thomas had made contact with the ball, but he didn't. It's just Welbeck. Brighton don't get a penalty, and honestly, they should feel incredibly hard done by. I'm not going to blue tin glasses that. We just robbed them. There was contact. I view it very similarly to Arjen Robben in the round of 16 at the FIFA World Cup. If contact is made in the penalty area and it's a foul, hit the ground. If you're diving and there's no contact, yeah, I hate that. But if there's contact, hit the deck. Yeah, agreed. That was a stonewall penalty. I would be screaming right now if this was the other way around. If that was a Leicester City player in the penalty area and Veltman or Van Hecke sticks out a foot like that and trips us, I would be fuming if I didn't get a penalty. But yeah, they got a corner instead, and yeah, I would be very, very upset if I was a Brighton fan. So the commentators are discussing it. It seems as though it's VAR can't review it because the referee played an advantage on the penalty and the shot was missed. So because it was an advantage given and Brighton took advantage of it and took a shot, you can't go back to a play that an advantage was given on. That's what at least sounded like based on the discussion. I have the game very low volume, so I'm not 100% sure that I understood that right, but that's what it sounded like. Yeah, we really, really, really just robbed them. We really got away with that. Now there's appeals for a penalty off a handball from Tielemans as he hoofs the ball clear and it's out for a throw in near the halfway line. Brighton will take it. And yeah, Leicester City currently sitting in a 4-3-3 out of possession. Albright, Dewsbury Hall, and Vardy up front. I'll tell you what, there's songs. I can hear Vish, I Had a Dream. I feel like it's been a while since I've heard some good songs going at the KP during a match. Ball goes out for a throw-in. And we're certainly taking our time with it. I get how frustrating it's been, and the fact that, like, you just don't really feel motivated for it. When I was at the match against Southampton, like, I certainly wasn't starting any songs because I didn't want to be the only guy singing, but it's so important to have the fans behind you, especially during a poor run of form. And again, like, I'll take responsibility. Like, I didn't sing much when I was at the Southampton match, but it's good to hear that even through a tough patch, we're still backing the lads. Brighton passing the ball around the back. Lofted pass. I think that's looking for Caicedo, but it won't find him. Estupinian, actually, I believe. But didn't find him, and it's out for a throw-in. Timmy Castagna throws it longish, but it goes up over his man, and Brighton regain possession. Exactly. It's a very symbiotic relationship. And at the moment, it had kind of broken down on both sides. You know, we've got a goal. The fans are singing again. Let's turn this around. Very calm play at the moment. Just a lot of short passes to the open man for both clubs. Oh, Mitoma's in the penalty area. He cuts back, plays it across. Solly March. Wow. Brighton are not going to get a more open chance short of a penalty than that. Solly March, acres of space in the penalty area, puts it both high and wide from just behind the penalty mark. Yeah, Luke Thomas just completely loses him and gives him so much space as he runs in to try to protect the back post. But yeah, he slips on the grass. I mean, Thomas had a great game. I'd say he's probably been Brighton's man of the match so far. I really hope that we see Matters as the Brendan substitution around like 65, 70 minutes. Offside call. We do. We have to have a go at them. And it looks like we're hungry for it, but we are still sitting back a lot and letting Brighton have a lot of the ball, which has worked for us in some games. Breakdown in communication there as Papi Mendy passes the ball to nobody and it goes out for a Brighton throw-in. I couldn't even tell you who we wanted to pass it to because there was just nobody there. Mendy back on the ball. Plays it forward to Dewsbury Hall. Cuts around Van Hecke, passes it forward to Barnes. Passes it across the penalty area, nearly finds his man. Falls to Dewsbury Hall following a clearance. Pratt tries to play the cross in. Sorry, Albrighton tries to play the cross in, and it's cleared by Lewis Dunk and out for a corner kick. We are lucky not to be 3-1 down. Like between the penalty and that chance for Solly March, like we have had an immense amount of luck. We have to take advantage of it right now with this corner. Albrighton plays an outswinger towards the back corner of the area, looking for Wout Faes. It's knotted on by the Brighton man. Dewsbury Hall blocks the clearance, but Brighton maintain possession and now look to break with Mitoma up against Mendy. March. Estupinian. McAllister. They're coming forward dangerously. Now they're just passing it around triangles, though. Pascal Gross, Estupinian, I think Dunk just passing it around in triangles. Mendy has been good today. Looking at the stats right now, only one shot on target for each team. Both of those have been the goals. 5 shots for Leicester City, 7 for Brighton. A lot of blocked shots, both sides. Van Hecke is on the ball now. Thomas puts a foot in. Barnes chasing it down. And it will go all the way back to Sanchez. Lofted ball. Mitoma cuts inside. And it goes out for a goal kick. We play it quick and short to Amarte. Tielemans. Dewsbury Hall. Mendy. Thomas. Barnes as we look to come forward still. Now we go back. Dewsbury Hall and back to Faes. Brighton closed down that angle. Albrighton passing it back and forth. Lofted ball to Tielemans. Through ball to Vardy. He's in the penalty area. Plays it back. Dewsbury Hall. Finds Barnes. And it shoots and it's blocked. And it's a corner. That was a gilt-edged chance. Beautiful pass and run by Vardy. It was a very positive attack. Corner kick now for Albrighton. Lofted out swinger. Finds Thomas. Finds Barnes! And we have the lead! We had to take our luck, and we did. And with that, it is now Leicester City 2, Brighton and Hove Albion 1. Poor defending there from Brighton on the corner. They give Barnes way too much space. It's on Van Hecke. He misses his clearance, and it falls on a platter to Harvey Barnes on the volley. Beats Van Hecke, beats Sanchez, and it is 2-1. We are staying up. Say we are staying up. What a well-taken corner, and credit to Luke Thomas, who heads the ball on, keeps it going over the players. It then bounces off of Solly March, finds Harvey Barnes in the perfect space. Van Hecke just completely misses his kick. I don't think he accounted for the deflection off of March, and it is 2-1. I'm not going to say I called it because the game's not over yet, but so far, I called it. I would love a 3-1 win. What a momentum turner this would be for us as well. To beat 8th place, start climbing back up. Going to take a quick look at the scores around the rest of the Premier League. Get you updated on those. As Wout Faes is fouled by Welbeck, and it's a free kick to Leicester City. Southampton, Aston Villa still 0-0. West Ham 2, Everton 0. I'll tell you what, I was mistaken. I did that whole discussion about sacking Nathan Jones. I thought for a minute that Southampton was playing Everton. West Ham, Everton, yeah, absolutely. That's an El Sacico. Bournemouth beating Nottingham Forest still 1-0. So no other score updates since halftime, except for the fact that Leicester City have taken the lead. Why can't we do things the easy way? So yeah, Precious, it is currently 2-1 to Leicester City. We always have the score on the banner right there. And I'll tell you what, we've made some good chances beyond just that corner so far in this half. Albrighton frustrating some of the Brighton players on the touchline as they're trying to take a throw in quickly as we hit the 65th minute. And that means we are in Brendan Rodgers substitution time. But it's Brighton who make the change. 18 off, so that will be Danny Welbeck, who is coming on for them. Evan Ferguson. I'm not familiar with this guy. Irish. 18 years old. So another young player there. Gutsy from Brighton. You're down a goal and you play and you bring on a youth attacking. You bring on a youth striker. Jamie Vardy tussling with his marker. It goes out for a throw-in. Right now, who do I think is top 4 and what 3 go down? I want to make this a real gut call, so I'm going to say it without looking at the Premier League table as it stands. Going down, Southampton, Everton. The Fox in me wants to say Forest, but I actually think they might stay up. I'm going to say Wolves. I said that Wolves might stay up earlier in the when we did the watch along against Wolves, but they've been shaky. So yeah, I'm going to say Southampton, Everton, Wolves go down. As Barnes comes into the penalty area, he tries to play a cross, and it goes off of a Brighton defender and collected by Sanchez. And then top four, I'll say Arsenal, I'll say Newcastle, and both Manchester clubs. Oh, there you go, Nick. We completely agree on something. There you go. Arsenal, Newcastle, both Manchester clubs. And yeah, bottom three, Southampton, Everton. I think Wolves over Leeds. I can see Leeds playing pretty scrappy. I still rate Jesse March. You might be a little ahead of me, but I hope to see Matters coming on. And yes, we will be as high as 13th with this. I'm going to take a quick look at the standings. Yes, we will be 13th ahead of the trees on goal difference with 14 better. Nottingham Forest on a negative 20 goal difference at the moment. And we would be 3 points clear of the drop once again, although Wolves would have a game in hand, but we would still be ahead of them on goal difference. I think more importantly than being 3 points clear of the drop zone is the fact that we would be insulating ourselves with 4 teams in between us and the drop zone. 3 points as it currently stands. Is that right? Yeah, so I have a live standing sticker here. We would be 3 points clear of Wolves in 18th, us on 20 points, Wolves on 17. Fernandito, I'm going to assume you're a Brighton fan then, but always happy to have some opposition fans in to offer some other opinions. And there he is. Big round of applause in the stadium as James Maddison is set to make his return. Kieran Dewsbury Hall comes off. And I'll tell you what, I feel like this was probably a substitution that had been set up from the start. You know, he probably told Maddison, you're in the squad, you're going to come on in the 70th minute, warm your legs up, but don't get hurt. But that is a positive change right there. We are winning the game, and we're bringing on an attacking, creative midfielder and keeping our legs fresh up front. Now we go for 3. And again, out of possession, it looks like we're playing a 4-3-3. Van Hecke on the ball. They're playing cheeky on the wing, but Luke Thomas does well to intercept. It goes off of him for a throw-in. Jam, that's not a bad call. I predicted 2-1 at the start. I know Anthony predicted a 3-1, I believe. I'm feeling good, though. Lofted ball that's looking for Caicedo, and Castagna does well to shield, and it's out for a goal kick. 20 minutes to go. Ruben, it's a bit of a weird way I came to it. I just liked football in general when I was younger. I got into it during the 2006 World Cup, and I got a magazine that had an article about Leicester's relegation to League One. And I just took a liking to, Fox on the crest. They had this goofy looking tile sponsor on the front of their shirt. I have that shirt as well. And I had a whole basket of teams that I supported at the time as well, because I just liked football in general. And just as Leicester came back up the leagues, the Great Escape, the Miracle title winning season, I started actually being able to watch their games in Canada, because like before it was a streaming service, they would just show like 4 or 5 games on television, and it was never Leicester City. And as I came to be able to watch them for, I just grew attached. So it's like, in the broadest sense, I always like to say I've supported them since the League One days. In a more realistic sense, I've been a fan since like 2014, 2015. That's when I've been able to like avidly follow and watch games and know players and stuff like that. Yep, that classic Top Styles shirt. Hang on a second. I got the shirt in here. There we go. The classic. I want to see if I can actually get the old Coca-Cola Championship patches to put on this shirt. And yeah, Barnes getting himself a goal is going to be a big help for his confidence. But I think also we've been seeing a little bit of a change in the way that he plays. As Brighton are coming forward now, Papi Mendy does well to intercept, but the ball falls to March on the edge of the area. He cuts backwards. He's forced to play it to Caicedo. And it's back with their center backs, but they're playing very, very high at the moment. Veltman crosses into the area, cleared by Fass. Fair enough, Nick. Honestly, that was my biggest complaint about these shirts was like the Jacko shirts fit terribly. They're so baggy. So baggy. Like this is a men's small and this is a men's, I think this is a medium, and the men's small from Jacko is like a size larger than this. Shot from distance from Brighton that goes well up and over the net. Canada's Tim Fott. How dare they not show Leicester Championship games? You know what? I can actually, now that it's on streaming services, I can watch select Championship games, but they only show like 1 or 2 games every match week, and it's almost always Norwich. Yeah, I've got one of the Berta shirts up here. I didn't mind Berta. Honestly, I think you're gonna get me talking about shirts and thinking like I'm a big shirt collector. I'm not going to focus on the match. Adidas have been kind of my favorite Leicester City shirts just because I like their fit best. Puma's a close second. But yeah, I think that Adidas make just some of like the best fitting shirts in football. They haven't given us the best designs. Like the pink third shirt was a really nice one. I'm disappointed I didn't get to own that one. I don't have it up on the backdrop, but I really liked the one from 2 seasons ago, the last King Power shirt with the tricolored cuff. I really liked that one. Oh yeah, and that's fair, but I mean like other shirts that I have from the same era, like other shirts from like 05, 06, they're not as baggy as the Jacko shirts were. Oh, so I have a I bought it on eBay for decently cheap because it had some random like pub league team name on the back of it, but I have the 94-95 Fox Leisure with the collar. Brighton coming forward now. Mitoma plays the ball across the penalty area and is cleared by Thomas ahead of Marsh. Only as far as Estupinian, though. He plays it back onto the wing to Mitoma. Brighton are getting dangerous here. They play the ball back. Dunk plays a long ball in, headed away by Fass. Estupinian gets there ahead of Castagna, but he does very well to get that ball. And Brighton forced back to the center circle. But yeah, it's that shirt I think was like a men's 38-40, which I think in US sizes and Canadian sizes would be like an extra large. I can't wear it. Like the collar is like this big. Yeah, it's a big shirt. Rate all of it. So I really like the home shirt for this season with the collar. I like a good collar shirt. I just wish it wasn't that flimsy, so I'd give it like an 8. Black and mint, 7. I like the color combo. I don't like the checkers. As Brighton are coming forward again, and Danny Ward will collect it. Good shielding by Amarte there to stop Ferguson from getting to that ball first. And I don't really rate the third kit, that like the cream and burgundy shirt. I'd rate that one like a 5. I might buy it if it goes on like a deep sale. If I can get it for like 15-20 pounds, I'll order it. Brighton coming forward right now. This is dangerous. Big save by Danny Ward to deny Ferguson. First save of the match by either goalkeeper comes in the 75th minute. But yeah, I think those are fair ratings. I rated the black and collar a little bit higher. James Maddison now on the ball as Leicester City look to counter. He plays it well to Tielemans. Up against Mitoma. Well played back to Maddison. It's 3 against 3. Maddison comes forward by himself, gets tripped from behind. How is that not a free kick? Okay, so fair. You rate the black and green. I liked the color contrast. I'm disappointed I didn't manage to get the checker pattern mint shirt that we had last season. DHL charges so much to ship that I can't afford to buy all of the shirts at full price. And that was the shirt I waited on to get when it was on sale, and by the time it was sold out. I want to see Adidas make us a nice black, gold on black shirt. I think if Adidas made me this shirt, all black, 3 stripes, Adidas, Fox's crest, Adidas logo, but the Fox's crest give me the running fox, I'll buy 3 of those shirts. I'll buy Premier League badge, Cup badge, and one with no badge just in case I want to get like the Papa John's trophy on it. Like that, I would buy that shirt immediately if Adidas gave us black and gold. I think it'll be very dependent on how our season ends. If we can climb back up to mid-table and we can show Maddison that we still have European ambitions, I think he'll stay. If not, then I do think he goes. Yes, he played a big part in a break that we just had, but he got pushed from behind. No free kick was given. I thought it was a foul, but you know what? Given that we got away with a penalty, I'm not going to gripe about it too much. Maddison does well there as well. He collects the ball off of a rebound from a Brighton player, gets it to Barnes. Barnes back to Maddison. There's already so much more energy in our midfield now that we've got Maddison here again. He gets tripped, and that time it is a free kick off of Caicedo. That's a fair call, although I feel like with shirt collecting culture now, like you need more than that because there's only so much you can do with those color combos. There's still some like traditional stuff that you see, like I would say that like probably black, white, or yellow have kind of become like the traditional Leicester away shirt colors. Well, I think also like if they bring back like the black with the light blue sash. Manchester United normally wears black or white as their away shirt, but you gotta have something funky once in a while. Yeah, there you go. So I have I don't have the Alliance Leicester one, but I have the Loros one from the season without a page sponsor. Barnes' pass to Maddison is intercepted, and now Brighton look to counter. Yeah, I can see why we're doing it because we really want to get a win to turn this around. Puma do make great shirts. I think they've done some fire stuff for Dortmund recently. Their Man City stuff, I think, is kind of flopped, except for the good chance here for Brighton. Ferguson with the ball in the penalty area, plays it back out wide. Back into the penalty area. Ferguson playing back and forth, lofted ball comfortably up and over the net there by Lamptey. And yes, that's a very fair call. And I also like a good shirt that can harken back to the history of a club like that. So like the Leicester Foss having the blue sash, I think that's a great homage. I think again, like if we're going to be sticking with more black kits in the future, like if we're doing this black and mint, even just give me a mint sash. The only thing is I think it would clash pretty badly with the FBS sponsor. They'd probably end up having to put a color field on it, and that would anytime you get like those big backgrounded sponsors, like it just makes the shirt uncomfortable to wear. West Ham had that for a while. You know what? I think Adidas did a good job of bringing back something like that with the Razzle Dazzle shirt they did for Manchester United. I own that one. I think that was like 2018-19 third. Foul by Vardy. Ten minutes to go in this match, and we're still holding on to the lead. I'll tell you what, if we could get Walker's back on the front of the shirt, I'd buy all 3 shirts every season. I love the Walker's Crisps logo on the front of the Leicester City shirts. I think even I'd love it if we could get my camera view is flipped, so I keep moving the wrong way. I think if we could get Walker's on the sleeve, even that would be a nice touch. Yeah, it hasn't been a goal fest, but the goals have been quality. Leicester City really doing well to build up a lot of chance in our first goal. And Mitoma's, again, I want to take nothing away from it. Could be a goal of the month contender. Absolutely class from Mitoma on that goal. Would mine have to have lays on it? Well played. Well played. Gotta be a cute, like, custom shirt to make. Like, if I ever own a Leicester City shirt or buy one secondhand that the King Power has come off of, I'll just work with some people who can make iron-on patches, and I'll put a Lays logo on the front of my Foxes shirt. Brighton coming forward again. It's Lamptey in the corner. He plays it back towards Veltman. Ferguson now lays it off on the wing to Mitoma, who crosses it in. Cleared away by Amarte, but it bounces off of Mendy, but Ward will collect. 7.5 minutes left. We're living dangerously, but you know what? I agree with Nick. Right now, let's get these points. Let's end the streak. Let's turn the momentum around. We got a tough run of games coming up. Let's get those heads held high. This is a club that I believe we haven't yet won points from a losing position. So to also end that streak as well will be huge for us. Going to quickly check on the scores elsewhere as well. Given your comment, I'm going to assume there hasn't been anything too noteworthy to report on, and that is correct. There have been no additional scores. Brighton coming forward again. It's Mitoma. He gets past all Brighton, but can't get past Tielemans. But then Mitoma comes back, trips Tielemans. No foul. He does get the ball first, and he's back in possession. Plays the ball forward. Well played. They're getting to the edge of the penalty area. Shot taken. Another big save by Danny Ward off McAllister. Squeaky pum time, lads. 6.5 minutes of it. You know what, though? Sometimes you just have to have luck on your side. And as of right now, as I knock on wood, we have luck on our side. Cross comes in, collected by Ward. Patson Daka apparently coming on. You're a little ahead of me. Yeah, that's fair. I own the Puma red top, and I got it because it was like I got it for £10 from a dead stock seller. Again, like we've seen how good Ward can be from that run of games before the World Cup. I think the World Cup really shook him because Wales did not do well. But once we can see him come back into his own, I think he's really going to shine. And it's Jamie Vardy off. For Patson Daka. And Vardy will happily stroll off the pitch at a leisurely pace, burn as much of this time as we can. Jam, he did. Wayne Hennessy got sent off in their first match, so Ward played, in the second match. So he played the last 10 minutes against Iran, and he played the full 90 against England, I believe. Brighton coming forward again here. Nottingham Forest have equalized against Bournemouth. Caicedo lofts it up. Amarte heads away. And we clear our lines. Can't find Daka, though, and it's with Lamptey. Through ball. Won't find anybody. Danny Ward will collect. And yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Sometimes it just takes luck. Like I think actually topical. It was Mitoma who kept the ball in play by like a millimeter for the Japan goal against Germany, right? It's nervy, but again, like if I can kick off my weekend with a win. Oof. Lamptey coming forward again. 3 minutes left. Solly March. Gets past Thomas. Played into the penalty area. Towards Ferguson. Daka gives the ball away now to March. McAllister gets around Tielemans. The ball is pinging around in the defensive third right now. Estupinian. Cross comes in. Headed. In off the post. And it's the substitute Ferguson who scores. Dan Amarte caught completely flat-footed there. Yeah, that hurts. Brighton coming forward again. Amarte heads it down. Tielemans. Madison. Madison gets tripped. He's holding his knee and his shin. Villa have taken the lead against Southampton. So that will put Leicester City in 14th, 1 point above the drop zone. I really don't know much about it, so I can't really comment. We've got just as much time for a third as they have. Come on. 4 minutes out of time. Mitoma plays a lofted ball. It's collected by Ward. We got to get it forward quickly now. Ward plays it long, but it's intercepted by Brighton. And Brighton plays it all the way back to Ward. I'm not having any of this until we're in the drop zone, and we're not right now. Mendy gets tripped by Gross, and it's a free kick in a dangerous area. You already know. Maddison plays the free kick in. It's headed away immediately by Brighton. All Brighton collects off the rebound, but can't keep it in, and it's out for a throw-in. What can you say? Come on, we can also score in these 2 minutes. It's not like Brighton have been playing the same lockdown defense. Tielemans takes the throw and plays it to Thomas. Back to Tielemans. Low cross towards Barnes. He lets it go to try to give it to Daka. Now it's with Thomas and Maddison. That's surely a free kick in a very dangerous position. McAllister absolutely rams into Maddison there. He should get booked for that, realistically. Like, doesn't even look like he's going for the ball. Completely out of control. Yeah, and he gets booked. And with that, he's going to miss this next match, apparently. Yeah, here we go. If we're going to win this game, it's going to come from this free kick. .5 minutes played of a 94-minute game. Brighton set up a 4-man wall with one behind. I'm not looking at the chat right now because if you guys are a little ahead of me, I don't want to see. Maddison takes, and it's off the wall. Mendy comes forward. We have time for one more attack. Barnes turns around. And that ends the game. 2-2. Similarly, though, I don't blame... That went in off of the inside of the far post. We had 4 defenders standing flat-footed around the player who got the header. Honestly, I blame the defense a lot more than I blame Danny Ward for that. For either of their goals, really. I mean, maybe, but I don't know. It didn't. You come out like that so that you can stop shots on the near post. If he was positioned well to save that and then he scores near post, you'd be saying the exact same thing. The losing streak has come to an end, at least, but what can you say? Full times around the league. Bournemouth ends in a draw with Forest. West Ham does beat Everton 2-0. Southampton and Aston Villa is still going. Villa leading 1-0. As it stands in the league, Leicester City sit in 14th position, 1 point clear of the drop zone. But with 4 teams beneath us. Or 3 teams between us and the drop zone. If any of you would like to join me for about 5 minutes of after-match thoughts, I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Oh, not over every other Premier League goalkeeper, but I don't think that he's a championship-level goalkeeper. I guess, conversely, are you telling me then, fair play to you if you are, would you take every other... Do you think he's better than every other, or do you think he's worse than every other Premier League goalkeeper? Do you think Dean Henderson is better than him? Any other goalkeeper? Fair enough. it once again hurts because we looked like we were playing more positively. I kept saying that we just didn't have luck on our side. Today we definitely did. Solly March's miss, the penalty that wasn't given to Brighton, but we don't get the points. It was mentioned earlier, though, the counterattack that led to Brighton's second goal started from Xhaka giving away possession. It's just a tough one to take. Stale tactics yet again. I was seeing rumors that we've been linked with Alban Lafont again, the goalkeeper for Nantes in League One, or in Ligue 1. If that happens, then yeah, that's definitely competition for Ward. We'd probably be sending Iverson out on loan. Either that or getting rid of Smithies. We'll have to see. All right. Well, it doesn't look like anybody's going to be clicking on the link, so I'm going to start winding down the stream. But thank you all for joining me. A disappointing match at the end of the day, but if any of you enjoyed the stream, at least, if not necessarily the result, please drop a like, share, and subscribe. It always helps us grow the channel. And I will see you next match. Scratch that, because we do have somebody joining us. Michael, can you hear me? I think Michael's still getting set up, but we will take a little extra time so we can get Michael on. You know what? As long as you keep it watershed friendly, we obviously welcome all sorts of opinions. I'm normally in the minority with the opinions that I have, so if you want to share thoughts, feel free. Just keep it child friendly. Cheers, Anthony. I'd argue that Mendy also showed some aggression. He did well. Luke Thomas did do decently in defense. Again, it's just like he might just be in out of his depth. Michael, are you ready? I'm going to try adding Michael. Michael, can you hear me?
Backward pass. I got one.
Michael, can you hear me all right?
Okay, Elijah, I can't hear you, and I don't think you can hear me either. I'm at a Premier League event. I want to show you what's going on. There's so many American fans here for everything. Look, I'm in Hawaii. There's so many Leicester fans here, and what a good game to watch with people that I haven't seen in a while. What a goal. At least we scored today. How awesome was that? You know?
This is better than a 2-0.
There's a bunch of Liverpool fans. There's a bunch of Man U fans. It's kind of whack. I don't like this. They're trying to corral us in and make us go from place to place. But look, what Leicester needs to do is cultivate their American fan base. If you want to sign new players, you need to fill up the stadium with tourists. And what this is are tourists. We all came out to watch the Brighton game today. A bunch of Leicester fans in America. Look, these people have on Leicester scarves. They have on Leicester shirts. Like, you're a Leicester fan TV. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. We're all drunk at 10 o'clock in the morning. Hey, and this is how it goes in America. You know, I've been drinking way more than coffee. Yeah. And this is Eddie Messias. He's from Cali. He's a big Western fan. And like we travel around the country supporting our
Oh, hello. How are you? We could have done with 3 points instead of 2, but we got there. We'll take one. We got one.
At least it's not a loss,
at least
right?
we didn't lose in front of all these people. Like, we're here in front of all Arsenal fans, Palace fans. What do we got? Yo, Brian and Rebecca. Look, there's so many American fans with Leicester strips on.
No, but there's a few of us. Mark and Arbor lad instead of a Leicester lad, but the rest are Americans.
Yeah, Chris is from Mark and Arbor, so he takes it seriously. We're all just trying to have fun. But I love you guys. I just wanted to give you a shout out from Orlando at the Premier League fan fest. It's going down here. There's so many people here. A lot of people love English soccer. Just want to let you guys know that. And yeah, have a good time. Cheers, Elijah.
All right, I'm then going to add in Jamie and Nick.
Michael,
Elijah, how are you?
Go to Disneyland, Michael. Go to Disneyland. It's much better there.
Look busy there, didn't it? Look busy there.
Just.
Anyway, back to the thing in hand, the game. Bit defensive, weren't we, lads? A little bit defensive, trying to catch Brighton on the counter-attack. Yes, we got a point, which is better than a defeat. At least we didn't lose. Bit disappointing that we didn't hang on to it, but they were just seas and seas of pressure by Brighton. They were just flocking in with early attacks. Yeah, disappointed with it. It feels more like a defeat, but we got a point. We battled it out. It's just a shame. Just a shame we couldn't hold on them last few minutes, isn't it, Nick? Do you agree?
Yeah, but what I will say to them is fair play to them second half. They did try and make a go of it second half and fight, like what me and you were talking about last week regarding the last time we're in this mess. If they can continue to do that, and the fact that we've got KDH back now, Maddison's got some minutes under his belt, we've got Ricky P not far off. We'll see. We've got to get a couple of more in, haven't we, in the window. We'll see. But I can't really complain too much because I said at the beginning of the game with my colleagues at work, if you give me a point now, I take it and run all day long because we need points on the board. So
it's just disappointing, isn't it, Nick? It's another game that they've scored and we haven't been able to win again.
Oh, definitely.
Another game. It's just predictable that as soon as they score, it seems like the confidence goes. I mean, cracking goal, Danny Ward. I know he took some stick in the previous part of the season, but he couldn't have saved that. No keeper in the world could have saved that.
Jamie,
that was a
the best
stunning
keeper
goal.
in the world wasn't going to save that. It's just one of those.
Maybe Castagna could have pushed him out wide instead of making him come inside. But other than that, Danny Ward didn't have a Scooby of doing that.
No
at least
keeper's stopping it.
At least we didn't break the club's history. One of the records in the club's history. Anyway, by losing 4 games on the trot and not scoring. That'd been the first time in history if we'd lost that without scoring. But we got a point. I know it's not what we wanted, but it's a point. It's better than nothing.
Jamie, what do you say? And you've said it for years and years and years.
If you can't win, do not lose.
Exactly.
But to be honest, though, it looked like we were the away side today.
But to be fair, though, it's been like that at home most of the season anyway, mate.
Trying to get them on the counter-attack.
The players are intimidated, but like I said in the comments, Elijah, it works both ways. The players have got to give the fans something to shout about and vice versa. But it is what it is, isn't it?
I mean, I'd like to know, because Elijah, I don't know what stream you were watching, and same as you, Nick, the crowd seemed a lot more up for it in the second half. There was a few tackles going in, and there was a bit of like I've asked for as well. I think you know what I'm going to say. There's been a bit of fight. There was a bit of pride. There was a bit of passion. Yes, we conceded that 88th minute goal or whatever it was in it, so it feels a bit like a defeat, even though we got a point. There was a bit of that, and the crowd seemed up for it today because I think it shows when the players give you something, it gives the crowd something to get on the backs for, doesn't it?
Well, I think the goal just before half time changed that, personally.
Oh, what a nightmare that was, though.
Yeah, with top in the crowd. I think if we would have gone at half time 1-0 down, you would have heard the boos 100%.
Oh, yeah.
Because all Brighton, you know, got us.
I mean, I could
level.
I could see it happening, though, Nick. I don't know about you. When they said, Vardy looks like he's offside because he's interfering with play. Remember when we played Brighton a couple of years ago and exactly the same thing happened? Barnes was offside twice.
Yeah. To be fair, though, they deserved the penalty. How we got away with that was a stone wall. I don't care.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Yes, he might have just took. Come on, Elijah.
No,
you were the commentary on that.
No.
What do you think? Come on, Elijah. Was it a penalty?
I don't think there's any getting away from it. I think we robbed them.
Jamie, if she was on the other foot, say Daka was through one-on-one or Vards or whatnot, and it happened to us, we would be going absolutely ballistic.
But it just,
and I'm
one of them
blue tinted specs on. But honestly,
not as much as some people have. Not as much as some people have, pal. But it was just, yes, there was a minimal contact, and Danny Welbeck made the most of it.
Yeah, but at the same time, if there's contact is contact.
But Maddison does that all the time. So did Vardy back in, tiniest bit of contact, they go down like a sack of spuds. I personally hate to see it. But if there's contact, isn't there?
But yeah, I think now they're using it much more with VAR. I think the decision was right. I really do.
I don't like VAR anyway. I think VAR shouldn't be.
No, well, you know what my feelings are on VAR anyway, but it's before the watershed, so I won't say anything. But yeah, overall, a point, a good result considering we hadn't got anything since November 12. So yeah, so a decent point. We needed that. The only thing is we're only 1 point off 18th place. That's the problem. That is the problem.
We've got a new left back now. We've got Christensen's come in. Looks like we are on the hunt for that. Is it Suter from Stoke?
Suter.
Back. The last centre back we signed from Stoke turned out all right. Get
who was
him
that?
in.
Robert Huth. Yeah.
Robert Huth.
I just got that. Just reminded me. Yeah.
Get a winger in and possibly, if we can, another goalkeeper. But having said that, I don't think Ward did too bad today, personally.
No, I didn't think Ward did anything wrong whatsoever. He couldn't have done anything with the 2 goals. No. I think FaZe could have done a bit better with their equaliser. Could have pressed a bit more. So could have Marta. They both could have pressed a bit more instead of dropping off.
I thought Mendy looked good today.
It's amazing though, isn't it? When we only get 37% possession, we score 2 goals. When we get 60-70% possession, we don't score any goals. It's amazing how it turns.
We've never cracked that deep block, have we? For years. That when we come
deep
up against
block,
deep block,
you mean defending deep.
Yeah. Defending
deep block.
But when we can't break it down though, Jamie. We've never been able to break it down.
No, I know that but it's all these modern day terms that I don't like. Deep block, high press.
What about the extractor fan?
Don't get me started on that.
Are you going to be inverted wing back and gegenpressing?
No, it's wing backs. It's wing backs, centre halves, centre midfield, right wing, left wing. None of this inside out, full back, whatever you call it, and stupid stuff like that. False 9 and false 10. It's centre forward, big man, small man, like Stevie Howard and Matty Fight used to be. That's what it is.
We need to go 4-4. We've said we need to go 2 at the top anyway, but
4-4-2, old school.
Well, I'll go 3-5-2. We'll go 3-5-2 if we can get another centre back in.
Anyway, we don't get paid the big bucks, Nick, for that. We don't get paid the big bucks for that. That's the problem.
No, true.
In the scheme of things, Nick, we don't matter, do we? We're just the fans that pay the money.
Oh, of course they do. Anyway, guys, I'm going to shoot, but I've got to give a shout out to the guys at the Loughborough sorting office at the Royal Mail because I promised them, because apparently I'm YouTube famous because I come on here quite a bit. So big up to them, lads, and I'll see you on Monday.
all you do is empty your sack through people's doors, Nick.
Now, Jamie.
We do. You're a postman. You empty your sack every day through people's door.
It's a lot harder than it looks, mate. Get some bloody miles in, that's for sure.
I bet you do. I do.
I was going to say, Jamie, don't forget that it's much nicer walking weather where you are.
It's not. It's actually bitter here today. I've got my hat on. It's bitter. It's freezing the last 3 or 4 days. Not quite like you in Toronto. Oh, it is Toronto you're in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not quite as cold there, but anyway, it's cold. That's why I've got my hat on.
Fair enough. Anyway, right, Jamie, I'm going to let you go.
Yeah.
Thank you both to you and to Nick for joining us. And we'll see you
later, pal. Be good. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. Callum Boyle from Football Joe. Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock UK time.
Cheers, Jamie. Take care.
Cheers, Elijah. See you later, pal.
All right. So now, thank you all for joining us. Again, like we were saying, bit of a tough match to take, but at least we got a point on the board. Let's see how the results tomorrow go. We'll see where we sit in the table. But for now, we will see you next time.